The E-Tron nameplate has been around for quite some time in the Audi lineup, but in the 2020s we have a wide selection of EVs to choose from, such as the E-Tron GT, Q4, Q8, and now the Q6. A crossover around the size of a Q5, priced between $60,000 and $80,000, and designed to take on that Cadillac Lyriq, which is the best-selling crossover in this particular segment. In today's video, we're going to check out what the Q6 has to offer. We're going to take a good long look at the exterior, the interior, take it out for a quick test drive, and see why, if you are looking at buying an electric vehicle right now that gives you some great tech features, possibly some great comfort, and also a classy design, then maybe taking a look at the Q6 might be a great decision. Now, before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout and thank you to Audi of Norwell in Norwell, Massachusetts, for inviting me down here to check out the Audi Q6. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive Audi inventory. So as always, let's begin with pricing. For 2025, with the Audi Q6 Premium Plus we have today, we have a starting cost of right around $70,000, with quattro all-wheel drive included on our model. Now, for any Audi, you want to go with that quattro all-wheel drive system for better year-round capability and versatility. But when you go in the EV direction, the dual electric motors gives you more power, which means more fun, and you're going to have a lot more excitement on those weekday commutes. However, there is a sacrifice because you are going to be missing out on some of that range. We'll talk about this in a minute. Now, in this particular market, the Q6 goes head-to-head with a wide range of competitors, such as the Cadillac Lyriq, Tesla Model Y, and Polestar 4, among many. This market is actually getting quite crowded, and for Audi, this could be a huge piece of the puzzle because, sure, the Q4 comes in at a more affordable price bracket, but as Cadillac is proving with the Lyriq, a lot of buyers at around $70,000 are looking for an EV, and the Q6 might be the best way to get those buyers from their gas-powered vehicles to the EV segment because it does look like a conventional crossover, which is something I really want to talk about for this review. When you take a look at the Q6 from the outside, it looks like a Q5. It really does. From far away, it looks like a B10 Q5. Now, I don't want any of you running with that and saying, wait a minute, I'm looking at buying a Q5. You're telling me it's going to look like an EV? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But from far away, it looks conventional. It looks like a regular vehicle on the roadways, unlike a lot of EVs out there. The EV market is supposed to be futuristic and give you some outlandish designs. But I think a lot of you out there who are concerned about having a car that looks too futuristic, draws too much attention, you might actually like what you have here with the Q6. So up front, you are going to receive full LED headlights and digital daytime running lights. That is one benefit of going with the Premium Plus over the Premium. Now, obviously, with this being an EV, the front grille is not going to be functional, and it blends right in with the body color. Love to see that. So Audi's doing the best they can to make this crossover not draw too much attention, but also not having color contrasting accents here. For the lower portion of the front bumper, you're still going to have that full paint finish, and then also you have aggressive body lines on the hood. So looks like a typical crossover from Audi. This is making a great first impression. Then as you make your way over the side profile, our model is sitting on 20-inch alloy wheels. These are optional for $1,000. 19s do come standard. So if you want to maximize your range and then also maximize the on-road comfort and the lack of road noise, going with the 19s would be a better choice. Although I do think the 20s gives you more of a premium look to the side profile and overall design for this model. As expected, you are going to receive body color folding side mirrors with turn signal indicators to go along with blind spot detection for added safety. Now, also one thing I want to point out here too, and this is typical for the EV market, you are going to have a full paint finish. No plastic cladding here at all. This is not an off-road worthy EV. And again, that gives you more of that luxury persona that you might be looking for out of a compact EV like this one. Then as you make your way around to the back with the Q6, you are going to have that illuminated light bar that runs the length of the rear fascia, which is a signature look for the E-Tron lineup. I'm thinking back to the earlier E-Tron crossovers that had a very similar design to this. So this is what kind of lets you know this isn't going to be a Q5 or a Q7, but it does give you that futuristic look here, at least for the final third of this model. Now, interestingly enough, the only aspect for the Q6 that has some cladding here is the rear bumper, which is to be expected to deflect some road salt or other type of debris on the roadways. What I also like too is that You do have somewhat of a sloping roofline. This isn't a Sportback Q6, but still gives you that sportier appearance to this vehicle that some of you might actually like. But all in all here, whether it's the front fascia, rear fascia, or even the side profile, it looks conventional. It's not outrageous, not outlandish. I think a lot of you are going to like that for sure with the Q6. Taking a quick peek under the hood for the Q6, you are going to have a frunk. Now, it's not going to be the largest in this market, but at least it is functional. So just for instance, I do have one of my smaller camera bags here. I'm going to place that in, and it fits perfectly. Now, Audi claims you have less than 5 cubic feet of room, so you're probably not going to be storing any type of groceries in these little slots here. But if you do have some smaller items that you want to store underneath the hood, you can definitely do so for sure. Quickly taking a look at the performance for the Q6 e-tron we have today, since we have the quattro all-wheel drive system giving us dual electric motors. We have a max output of 456 horsepower, a top speed of 130 miles per hour, which I know a lot of you will not achieve, and a 0 to 60 time of around 4.9 seconds. Now, in regards to range, I am only going to use what Audi's giving us right now. It's 296 miles on a full charge. Now, Car and Driver gives us far better numbers here for this vehicle, and knowing Audi and knowing German manufacturers, they are going to undersell their vehicles in regards to performance and range. Now, Car and Driver gives you something like 321 miles with a single electric motor and 307 with the dual electric motors. Now, that is great because that would be very competitive with the Cadillac Lyriq and would be competitive with other EVs in this segment. But if you can achieve 300 miles out of this vehicle, that is phenomenal. And also one thing to remember here too is that this is going to be a daily driver. So 300 miles is going to be more than adequate for most of you for those weekday commutes. Hopping inside the Q6 Premium Plus we have today, we have power adjustable, heated and ventilated leather trim seats for both the driver and passenger, with the driver's side having 2-position memory for added convenience. Now, one thing I want to point out here is that our model does have the sport seats, giving you better bolstering and support, and gives you a more enthusiast-focused driving experience right off the bat before you even set out on your first ever journey. Now, through the winter weather package, which we do have equipped on our model, this is $1,300 here, you're also going to find the speakers in the headrest, which will amplify the audio of your favorite music, which is great to see. For $1,300, you get ventilated seat functionality, you get the sport seats, you get the Bang & Olufsen sound system in the headrest. There's a lot to work with there. So I would say definitely go with that package. Now, in front of you will be a full digital gauge cluster, infotainment system, which is going to be Android based, by the way. You can see that right off the bat, the way it's laid out. Then also for our model, we have a head-up display. So a lot of tech features to keep you entertained, but also keep you guessing and wondering, all right, how does this all work? And it's going to require 15 to 20 minutes to get used to. If you want me to take an in-depth look at these screens, at this new technology, let me know. I will come back to Audi of Norwell and we'll take a very deep dive into what these vehicles now have to offer, because this will be making its way in the Q5 as well. But before we get into these screens, let's talk about this little panel here on the driver's side door. So from here, obviously you can lock and unlock the doors. You have the buttons that control your outside lighting system. And I was looking for those buttons on the steering wheel stock, on the infotainment system, trying to see if there's any buttons on the dashboard, and I'm like, oh, it's on the door panel. All right. Now, these are haptic feedback buttons, so I know a lot of you are like, oh, here we go. Audi's still doing this in 2025. But this is going to be giving you that futuristic design that we'd obviously expect from Audi right now in 2025. From here, you can adjust your outside mirror positioning and adjust your 2-position memory. But it's also from here, with the touch of a button, you can adjust your child safety locks. So that way they're not opening those doors when you are on those longer road trips. So you can do that very simply within arm's reach. Now, taking a look at the digital gauge cluster, it's not too much different from last generation with Audi's virtual cockpit. However, the layout is a bit different and will require a bit of a learning curve here. On your steering wheel, which is heated, by the way, you have haptic feedback buttons. You can adjust the view to your liking, and then also you can showcase information that is relevant to you. Personally, I do like the older technology from Audi because I think it was a bit more easy to use, whereas this is going to require some time to get used to. However, it's still going to be responsive, and the resolution is pretty good for a vehicle in this market. Then taking a look at the infotainment system, this is a new Android-based software, which I recognize right off the bat. Just the way it's laid out, I'm very used to this. For those of you who have experienced the older MMI user interface, this will take some time to get used to. So at the bottom of the screen will be all your climate control settings, such as your heated and ventilated front seats, your dual zone climate control, AC, front and rear defrosters, and that's also from here where you will have a dedicated menu for all of this for your fan speed and fan directions. So really cool stuff here, very easy to use, at least in regards to the climate control. Now I know what you're thinking, but no more physical buttons. So that's going to be a bit of a takeaway. But we see a lot of this right now in the automotive industry. On the left side of the screen will be quick access icons to get your different menus efficiently, such as your home screen, your navigation, also your smartphone connectivity, vehicle settings. So from here you can adjust your sound settings, display, Audi Assistant, privacy settings, functions, on demand, apps. You can scroll through all this on your own time and at your own discretion. Now next to your home screen icon will be the layout for your tablet-like touchscreen here, with all your widgets in place for navigation, radio, Sirius XM, phone, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay, vehicle charging, and driver assistance. Now this is very similar to what you're going to find in BMW products right now, so this is not going to be something too foreign compared to other vehicles in this segment. When you open the vehicle tab, there are a number of sub-menus here for your displays, also the exterior and interior lighting, service, and more. But then also, if that isn't going to confuse you enough, you also have your driver assistance tab. And from here, you have a long list of safety systems that you can turn on or off. I would leave most of these on for added safety and peace of mind when you get behind the wheel every single day, especially if you have kids in the second row. I mean, there is so much to go over here that I think the infotainment system alone would probably require a 20-minute video. So I will probably most likely come back here to go over all of this if you want me to go in depth. When accessing your camera systems, there's going to be a number of different angles here. Obviously, a rear backup camera with trajectory, but also a front-facing camera, side view, so that way you're not scraping those wheels, and then also a top view, so that way you have plenty of visibility when parking in tight spots or when you are parking in a garage. So great to see here with the Premium Plus. Continuing on towards the center console, you will find two USB-C inputs, a 12-volt outlet, a cubby which is deep enough for some smaller items, maybe a couple wallets or smartphones or other tech gadgets, also wireless phone charging pad. For the center console itself, you will find obviously your start-stop button, your drive mode selector, traction control on and off button, and then your volume and tuning knob. You're going to have your gear selector here along with your electronic parking brake, then your camera systems. For the center storage compartment, there is enough room for some smaller items, but not too deep, which is to be expected for a vehicle in this market. And then to round out the front seating area, above will be a panoramic sunroof, which brings in a lot of natural light to the interior. Now for passengers in the second row, they're looking at right around 37.5 inches of legroom, which is more than adequate to take on a BMW X3, Audi Q5, or Mercedes-Benz GLC. Everything about this model is a Q5. It really is. It's just that it's electric. And this is perfect for the EV market that goes head to head with that Tesla Model Y, with that Polestar 4, with the Cadillac Lyriq. Because at 37.5 inches of legroom, this is what you would typically find in a vehicle of this size. Now this seat isn't adjusted most of the way back, nor is it on a recline, but I have plenty of legroom. But more importantly is that headroom. You have that panoramic sunroof, which is going to give you less headroom. However, these seats do sit a bit lower to the ground to maximize that headroom. So I don't think taller passengers will be hitting their head on the headliner. Also back here, you do have two center-mounted air vents to go along with heated outboard seats and climate control. But best of all, we also have sunshades to block out the haters, and on a very sunny day like today, when you're on your iPad or iPhone, that sunlight will not be gleaming down on those screens. And then to round out the second row seating area, you do get a center armrest with two cup holders. Making our way around to the back one more time to take a look at the rear cargo area. As expected, you are going to receive a power liftgate. And inside, behind the second row seats, you're looking at right around 30 cubic feet of room, which is more than adequate for a vehicle in this market. This is a little bit better than a B9 Q5. So if you're going on a road trip with the family, you can easily store 8, 9, 10 bags of luggage, if not more. Now our model does have a box here along with the rear cargo cover, so I was still able to fit all my camera gear today with no issues. That's 2 bags of camera gear, a gimbal box, and a tripod. So I think on those weekday commutes or long road trips, this is going to be a very versatile and practical vehicle for you. On top of that, on both sides of the rear cargo area will be some netting and some cubbies for some smaller items, such as a couple water bottles, car detail equipment, or maybe even a first aid kit. And then one feature I really do like to see for these vehicles is that you are going to have quick release levers that will conveniently lower the second row seats. And when those seats are lowered, you're going to have right around 60 cubic feet of room, which would fall right in line with other EVs in this market. So if practicality is what you're looking for, alongside the efficiency and maybe even the luxury aspects that we have here for this model, you're going to find all of that and then some with the Q6. As I talked about throughout this entire review, the Audi Q6 does feel like a Q5. Aside from the fact that it's quiet, has electric propulsion, and is a bit more futuristic compared to a B9.5, which the B10 should be arriving within a couple of months. But in the EV segments, this is important and very crucial for Audi to nail and get right. Because for a lot of buyers who have been on the fence for years, and they're like, all right, I'm ready to make this switch. I'm ready to transition from a gas-powered vehicle to an EV. What's out there? What am I actually looking at for a luxury vehicle? You have the Mercedes-Benz EQE, Polestar 4, you also have the Cadillac Lyriq. And some of these vehicles are very futuristic in design, which that is going to have an impact for sure, because a lot of buyers don't want a crossover or any vehicle that draws too much attention unless it's an exotic car or a sports car. For an EV such as this, it can blend in on the roadways and you're not drawing too much attention to yourself, which is why I look at this as being an EV version of the Q5. In regards to the performance, the on-road driving attributes, and how it handles and performs, the one issue a lot of manufacturers are going to have here is that with the Q6, it doesn't drive much different than its competitors. I mean, it's luxury first, even in dynamic mode, which I've been in for the last 15 minutes. It doesn't drive sporty or aggressive. Now, with the dual electric motors, you are going to have a good amount of performance right off the line. You're going to have that propulsion, which definitely gives you a lot of confidence when entering highways and passing slower drivers. But aside from that, this is your stereotypical EV, and that might not be a bad thing. Best of all, for a vehicle such as this, and for its size, it is quite maneuverable. That's due to the light steering feel for this model, and that is going to give you a lot of confidence when you are just cruising around in the city and suburbs. It drives a bit smaller than it looks from the outside. Now, with the suspension, it's going to exhibit the same attributes as other EVs. Lower center of gravity. It's tuned primarily for comfort, so you go over the bumps and imperfections and you barely feel them, which is great out of a vehicle in this market. But again, in this segment, it's not going to be, earth-shattering in regards to its on-road performance or on-road comfort. And that is one thing that you can distinguish between a Q5, Mercedes-Benz GLC, and BMW X3. You can't do that in this market. It's going to come down to the other intangibles, the other aspects, the interior space, the cargo space, even the technology. Because I think you are going to like the fact that with this digital gauge cluster and infotainment system, it's not a seismic shift compared to the older MMI user interface or Audi's virtual cockpit. So I think you're going to find yourself right at home being behind the wheel of this model. Also, one thing too is that in regards to the overall vision being behind the wheel of this vehicle, I mean, the front hood doesn't even exist. You barely see that in front of you. So you have a lot of visibility in front of you. You have a nice panoramic view. The A-pillars are thin, so you shouldn't have any blind spots when you are approaching intersections or red lights. The side mirrors are huge though. I mean, I can see what's in my blind spots and in the lane next to me. But then looking out back, the headrests are in the way, and that does create a bit of a blind spot there. So definitely take it easy if you are backing out of a tight spot in a garage or on some city streets. But when I take a look at this vehicle as a whole, I think it's been designed and engineered to generate sales from Q5 buyers, people who are ready to make that leap. And I think there are a number of buyers out there that are intrigued, that are interested. And personally, I would say that if you are looking at a Q6, go with the Premium or Premium Plus. That way you're spending somewhere between $60,000 and $70,000. A Prestige, you're at 80 grand, and you're also getting a passenger side infotainment system, which, is that necessary? Is that kind of tacky? I think so. I mean, you don't really need to have an infotainment system for the passenger side. This is a vehicle for a mature buyer, so I don't think it's really necessary. I would say just go with a Premium Plus, and a well-equipped model at that too, at around 75 grand. This would be a great choice compared to a Cadillac Lyriq or Polestar 4. Now, I am making my way towards the highway because I want to see what the accelerations are like, because you really can't do much here in the suburbs. But I will say that the linear power band definitely gives you a lot of fun factor that might be lacking in the Q5, although the Q5 is a fun daily driver as well. So let's get on the highway here for a brief acceleration and see what the Q6 Quattro has to provide here. Plenty of power. I mean, the torque is instant. And you do get some of that propulsion, and you get some of that pushback in your seat. Really nice. That's nice. Now at highway speeds, road noise isn't too bad. So you're still going to have the interior quality and interior insulation that you demand out of a vehicle at this price point. Not too bad at all. On the brakes, nice and strong here. I'm not using regen braking. Really not too bad. And then when you're in the corners, steering input's pretty good. And then also you feel the rigidity with the suspension. You feel that weight transfer. So not too bad. Not too bad at all. You know, there is some body roll, but that's to be expected. But still, though, you can have some fun. So all in all, after this quick test drive, the Q6 is a pretty fun vehicle. In fact, I think it's exactly what Audi needs right now when you are cross-shopping it with the Cadillac Lyriq and obviously the Polestar 4, Tesla Model Y. So I think what you have here with this vehicle is something that a lot of buyers can enjoy. And you also have the efficiency at the end of the day too. So I think that for Audi and for this market, which is very important right now, seeing as though so many Americans are really into the Cadillac Lyriq, the Q6 is a worthy adversary to Cadillac right now. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick review for the 2025 Audi Q6 e-tron. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. And I will see you guys next time.